What up, what up? I'm your host, Following Christ, and this is your weekly wake-up call. Don't forget that you can follow us on YouTube at the name ZOEFREAK, the number 95. You can share these videos with your family, friends, co-workers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any social media website. Don't forget to favorite any video that you find interesting or like. Don't forget that you can also subscribe to this channel to constantly get these videos as they are uploaded. Don't forget to also like us on Facebook at the name The Watchman for Christ. It's a page that myself and The Watchman 118 share. We post our links to our videos from our YouTube page, as well as different passages of Scripture for inspiration and knowledge, to guide us through these troubled times that we live in. But today I want to talk to you all about a very pressing issue, and that is respecting or keeping of the law. So many people have a very skewed interpretation of the law, or if we should keep the law. The first thing we must understand, laws are given to keep order, to actually keep peace, to govern life. It's just like the laws of physics. If certain dynamics don't happen, the world would actually spin off its axis. There's a law that governs that. There's a law of gravity. There's a law of electric charges. There's certain laws that govern certain aspects of life. Keynote to keep in mind, I was driving one day and I realized how important laws really are. When I drove by an intersection where the cars to your left and right had to stop, but you're allowed to go straight. There's a law that says you must stop. It's a law of driving that says you must stop. When a person disobeys that law, tickets or some type of punishment is given if you're caught, or accidents can occur and someone else could get hurt, even you who are driving the car. Laws protect, but the very more pressing issue on law is the laws of the spiritual connotation. We're all here because of God, our Creator, our Maker. He has laws, specific laws that we ought to follow to keep peace and harmony in life. But the key thing that we all neglect is the fact that if you do not have a respect for God's law, how could you have a respect for any other law? If you look at the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 12, it tells us that there is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou to judge another? So there's one lawgiver, there's one being who makes all law. So his law actually supersedes any other law. He is the only one that's able to save or destroy a person. His law is sovereign. If we have no respect of his law, how can someone have a respect of any other law? But many people will say that the Lord's law doesn't matter, or it's old, it's gone, it's been done away with. But see, there's a problem with that, because just like any law of the land, if there is no law, then there is no repercussion or nothing wrong when I break said law. If someone robs you and you call the cops, but there is no law, what can the cops do? Why should that person go to jail if there is no law? Why should we as Christians, or professing to be Christians, desire for someone, as the term says, go to hell? Why should we desire someone to go to hell if there is no law? If there is no law to break, then there is no sin being committed. If there is no sin being committed, then there is no hell to go to. There is no punishment or retribution to be had when we say that there is no law. If you read in Romans chapter 4, verse 14, it says, because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. So if there is no law, nothing that anyone does can be viewed as wrong. If a person wrongs you and there is no law, you can't say they sinned against you. You can't say they broke the laws of the land, because it says that there's only one lawgiver who's able to save and destroy. If God is that lawgiver and his law doesn't matter, then no other law matters. Nothing else is important. For where there is no law, there is no sin. There is no wrongdoing. There is no need to punish someone if there is no law. You know, the second thing on the flip side of that, and our final note, is that so many people flip and say, well, we're just supposed to love each other, love each other, love each other. That takes care of everything. But the thing about love, there's a reason that love is, because the Bible said that God is love. Okay? If you read Romans chapter 13, verses 8 through 10, it tells us to owe no man anything, but to love one another. For he that loveth another has fulfilled the law. Keep that in mind. It's a key point there, that love and the law commingle. They're intertwined. They're one and the same. So when we say we're just supposed to love one another, Scripture tells us that love is fulfilling the law. And in verses 9 and 10, it explains furthermore how. It said, for this, in verse 9, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, if there be any other commandment, that means commandments that aren't mentioned, any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. So the key to keeping God's law is to love, but not in the connotation that many would have you believe, that love just supersedes the law. There is no law, just love your neighbor as yourself. But loving your neighbor as yourself means that you don't lie to them. You don't lie on them. You don't steal from them. You don't commit adultery with their spouse. You don't try to murder someone. You respect them. By loving them, you truthfully keep the law. But see, the real issue is that we don't love God. Because if we don't love God, we can't love anyone else. And we truthfully don't love ourselves. For as it is written, if you love me, keep my commandments. Love is the fulfilling of the law. Where there is no law, there is no sin. So the true question remains, if there is no law, there is no sin, and love is the fulfilling of the law, where is the love? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Because sin shall abound, because the law isn't being kept, because we sin but say that there is no law, we stop loving one another. And love is the fulfilling of the law. This is your host, Following Christ. And whether you accept this message, whether you like it or not, the truth will always stay true. God bless. It's time to wake up.